Chapter 14. Does it have to be a tragedy? 14. Does it have to be a tragedy? News of the end of relationships tends to be greeted with deep solemnity in our societies. We often think of a breakup in terms of a minor tragedy. People will offer condolences as they might after a funeral. This reflects an underlying philosophy of love. We are taught that the natural and successful outcome of any love story should be to seek to remain with a person until their or our death. By implication, any breakup must be interpreted as a failure on one or both sides. But there is another scenario in which we understand that we are separating not because our relationship has gone badly, but because it has gone well. It is ending because it has succeeded. Rather than breaking up with feelings of hurt, bitterness, regret, and guilt, we're parting with a sense of mutual gratitude and joint accomplishment. This counterintuitive but real possibility has an unexpected source. It comes from having kept a crucial question in mind throughout our time together. What is this relationship for? The inquiry may feel negative. We imagine it being asked in a disillusioned tone. But it can and should be asked positively and eagerly, with the aim of finding a good answer that goes to the heart of love. Normally, we imagine love as a kind of ownership. Full of admiration, two people agree to buy one another as they might a static, beguiling object. But there is another, more dynamic and less hidebound way to interpret love, as a particular kind of education. In this view, a relationship comprises a mutual attempt to learn from and teach something to another person. We are drawn to our partners because we want to be educated by them and vice versa. We love them because we see in them things that we long for but that are missing in us. We aspire to grow under the tutelage of love. For example, a partner might at the outset have been confident but also gentle, a combination that until we met them had seemed impossible. Or they knew how to laugh at themselves, while we were too withdrawn and solemn to do so. Or they had a practical competence that we found delightful and moving precisely because it was lacking in us. We could accurately say in such cases that the purpose of the relationship was to teach us confidence, or gentleness, or how to laugh at our own idiocy, or how to become more dexterous, or 1,000 other qualities, depending on who we both are. The point is that there will have been some specific and important thing we needed to do together that defined what the relationship was for. By being with the partner, by intertwining our lives, by listening to them, even by being criticized or nagged by them, we will be able gradually to internalize what they have to teach us. But there may come a point where we have absorbed as much from them as we can. Thanks to our partner, we are more mature beings than we were when we got together. We are more balanced and wiser. They've helped us to become more like the people we always wished to be. Precisely because our relationship has had a great, intimate, loving purpose, it can be completed. It can be finished in the sense in which a novel can be finished, not because the writer got sick of the trials of writing, but because they have, through plenty of difficulties, brought the project to a good resolution. Or more poignantly, perhaps, a relationship can be finished in the way that childhood can be finished. Thanks to the immense devotion of their parents, a child arrives at a point at which, in order to progress further, they need to leave home. They're not being kicked out in anger or running away in despair. They're leaving because the work of childhood has been done. It is not a rejection of love, it is love's good consequence. Finishing is not a sign of failure but of success. The difference in these cases is that we've clearly understood what our efforts were for. There was a goal in mind. The writing shouldn't go on forever. The child should leave home. But because we have not asked what our relationship is for, we can't normally get to this sense of having reached a proper ending. Or else we refuse to ask, because the only motive for the relationship is to ensure that we are not alone. Which, when we reflect on it, is never a good enough reason to monopolize someone else's life. In an ideal relationship, the sense of completion would be mutual. The painful reality, however, is that we may sometimes want to leave while our partner wants us to stay. But the idea of love as education can still apply. Our unbearable conflicts mean that we've stopped being able to teach one another anything. We may know important qualities they should learn, but we're not the right teacher. We lack the patience, skill, charm, or self-confidence to transmit insights in a way that will work for them. We have done all we can. Our task is complete not because our partner has nothing left to learn, but because we aren't the right person to guide them. We can avoid feeling devastated by a breakup by knowing that there are many other ways in which we still need to develop. We may have learnt much, but we're still far from complete. It's just that the lessons we now have to take on board will come from someone else, or from the educative experience of being on our own for a while. 15. But I don't find them awful. One of the reasons we may be confused as to whether to stay or leave is that we don't find our partner especially awful. Remarkably, we don't hate them. Strangely, we don't mind spending time with them. Oddly, we still admire them in a host of ways. The confusion caused by this duality, by an ongoing respect and tenderness together with a hunch that we should still be off soon, throws up one of the odder, though very prevalent, ideas that circulate in our minds. That the only legitimate moment to leave a person is when we can't bear them any longer. That the primary justification for departure is hatred and a sick feeling in the pit of our stomach. That the reason to quit is loathing. This idea is unhelpful and cruel for both parties. When we are being left, that story fits into the darkest narrative we may have about ourselves and our value. Of course we are a target of hatred. Of course someone has found us despicable. All the sweet words that might have accompanied a breakup must mean nothing. There can only be one reason for the split. The leaver is disgusted with us, has seen something appalling in our soul, considers us vermin, and can't bear our presence. But the story is no less grim for the leaver. It makes what they are doing appear especially cold-hearted. Only a very angry or indifferent person would put a partner through such an event. It raises the stakes of a breakup hugely on both sides. But, as we have seen, there are a host of far less awful reasons why kind and good people break up. Because we need freedom to develop our characters. Because we have learnt enough. Because we sense that we are stifling someone we love or are not aligned on some central priorities. It is entirely possible both to quit and to love. Someone can be wrong now but have been right in all sorts of ways for a very long time. That we still have feelings for our partner is not a sign that we must stay with them, nor is the fact that we are leaving evidence that we must hate them. Tenderness is no unwarranted feeling in a departing partner. If forced, we could happily stay with them for the rest of our lives. But we are not forced, and we are not obliged. Our ultimate responsibility is to our growth and flourishing. We should not be puzzled that we find our partner lovely. We can admire our younger selves for having chosen so wisely, but simultaneously honor who we are today and who we need to be tomorrow.